You can't just build a wall and say you can't go and do this. It's music. It's right for everyone. Can you get it? كله قرود السيرك القط يكسب لو بنلعب لعب الطيش اللي ربطك مش ربطني واخد اعفى من الجيش ما باكلش بين الميز بشخ اكلي وبجيب بينك زيت.
We are the third generation of the catastrophe and we don't want to victimize ourselves anymore. We are bored actually from that.
We are fighting every day and we are trying to keep our culture strong.
Israel is trying to divide us with the wall, with checkpoints, with the Israeli state being built on 80% of Palestinian land.
And it's really tough, you know, because you're really disconnected from the world.
Playing together, not only for the cause of partying, but to make the connection strong with the people in the West Bank. It's rebirthing the Palestinian community again. In terms of map, there's no country called Palestine. It's the West Bank, under the Palestinian authorities. It's Gaza by Hamas, and it's the refugees. So like 7 million refugees all over the world. And us, 1.8 million Palestinians living inside Israel, within the Israeli passport, by force, not by choice, because we're born here.
I'm in Ramallah, stuck in Ramallah. We don't have a right to move at all. We are in a small prison. Ramallah, there's a lot of problems happening, places closed, there's no venues. I just wanted to go and play a full set once, like play in a proper party, you know? I have a gig at Honolulu. This is the only place I play in Jaffa because it's the only Palestinian venue. It's really special for me to play in Jaffa because it's my hometown. My family kicked out in 1948 and they are refugees to Ramallah. I smuggled into occupied Palestine. I've been caught by the police. They took me for investigation for 3 hours and then they let me go by dropping me after the checkpoint. But I don't care. Nothing will stop me. I will do my thing. I fell off of the wall, which is 8-meter wall. I hurted my leg, but yeah, worth it, definitely.
There is a big community who comes to the Honolulu. They don't go anywhere else here in the city. They don't feel comfortable going anywhere. Yesterday, for example, 2 guys just told me, like, this night changed my life. don't have music policy. But I'm not gonna put like a soldier. If I know he's a soldier, I'm not gonna put him at Honolulu and play music like everything is fine. It's not fine. You can't come to Honolulu and play music. On the next day, you go wear your army uniform and go to the West Bank. The moment you see a DJ from Ramallah here in Jaffa, rings a bell like for people here. Like, it makes them feel like we can break borders.
There's a bridge built between Haifa and Ramallah that Jazza crew and me built it since 2010. We're working on it.
البلد كان فيش فيها شيء. حيفا فلسطينيين موجودين ساكنين بإسرائيل. كل قصة حياة الليل, night life, we are outsiders. After a few years, we just realized that, okay, let's stop be consumers and let's be the producers.
The scene was virgin. It was spontaneous, it was real, very loving, very chaotic.
We collected some local artists, local DJs, and we had a party. And in the middle of the party, people started getting messages and notifications that the revolution in Egypt is happening. And then it was fucking euphoric. Woo! The world is saved, everything's gonna be fine. Yeah. In the end, it was just a hangover the next day, not really a revolution, but it was...
Only guest list since we started. And that's what actually made it very, very unique to the people. Because in the Palestinian Arab community, you barely could have seen a girl 8 years ago, 7 years ago, smoking a cigarette in a party. Jazza dance floor gave this opportunity for everybody to be yourself, to dance like crazy, I don't know, to get naked, to smoke, to roll a joint.
Not to get naked, I wasn't there.
Cabaret, I mean, it was a dream, yeah, to have your own space, finally.
It's the first Arabic or Palestinian stage in Haifa that gave opportunity to local artists. If we don't get IDs and ask people if you're Israeli or not, everyone is welcome.
I mean, you never solve racism with racism.
We are not like DJs or just party makers. We are creators. We are putting the people together. We make a bridge. Some people from the Arab world don't know that we exist, that there is a Palestinian lives here, that we are fighting every day and we are trying to keep our culture strong.
We, as a people, we've been very harassed emotionally and self-confidently. It's like finally we are full of self-confidence, practicing our own identity through this very temporary dance floor.
It's a therapy for the identity crisis that you're experiencing here.
Exactly. The guys from Ramallah always knew about Jazza crew. Like they knew that we're making the scene, the underground Palestinian scene in Haifa. And for them, it was like really a big thing. What? Underground Palestinian scene in Haifa, you know? So for them, Haifa, it's Israel. Like listening to Muqata'a, for example, it was very important to make the connection with our people.
One of the godfathers of the underground hip-hop scene in Palestine.
Muqata'a means disrupt, it means boycott, it means interference. We live in like a very stagnant political situation, so we need that kind of disruption. We're going to the center of Ramallah, going to be recording some sounds there. To me, putting the sound of my surroundings and what I hear every day with electronic sounds and with samples from like old Arabic vinyls, you know, all these layers together. To me, that's my sound. I think we're getting some nice like spray sounds, and we'll see what happens, you know.
كنكترين انجاز فروه كلوين ب10
Palestinians coexisted before Israel was created. Palestinian Jews, Palestinian Muslims, Palestinian Christians were all living together here. And there was no separation of religion. And then in 1948, the Zionists created Israel. And then that's when there was no coexistence anymore. Our culture is being erased, stolen as well, from our food, from our dress, from our music. So for me to reuse our own culture and to bring it back in this new form, in a way it's like keeping it alive and and fighting back. In the beginning, I started working as solo. I was still in the process of learning how to make beats, but then quickly after that, we started the group called Ramallah Underground.
رصد السيارة وهويتك وين رايح من وين جاي شو قضيتك فكرت حالك خلصت هاي اللي جيتك تعيش بدون حواجز مش حتتحقق أمنيتك.
We started that group and we started touring, and then things picked up from there. Then we split up around 2009, and then right after that I met the Salib Wahed guys. So the studio that we work in is in that direction. It's another studio, and over there we meet up and we session, and we make beats there together. ولك ايش هذا البيت اصلا؟ انا رسمي روح ناصر جلموت بيت. مثلا ان كنت زعلان لك قبلا افضل زعلان لك بعدا من بعدك احس حالي اطول من بعدك احس حالي اسمن. اهلا يا حلوه غني الغنوه في الف وبش غيرك يسوى ولي يسوى 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 غني الغنوه في ألف ومش غيرك يسوى 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 بالعربي. The way I write definitely changed after I met these guys. They were writing flows that I've never heard before. They were producing beats that I've never heard that kind of rhythm, in my life.
بالأول كنا نقعد مع بعض بغرفة مسكرة، قعدنا نعمل هيك 4 سنين. 4 سنين ما طلعش ولا إشي، كنا بس نكتب ويتطاوشوا الشباب مين فرساته أحسن مين بيتاته أحسن.
شوف تعريف بين أرشيف رام الله المخيف الضريب مصيبة وبرضه الشارع لسه مش نظيف. عيد فساد اجتماعي واستماعي ساعي بريد ردا لمين قطع ايد رافع كف والناس في استباحي وشاحي ابيض واسود مستقصد من صهيوني صطفت جيوشه وانتسفت جيوشي شوشي احتشتت بعد 63 سنة خبطت في الشيك ضيق نفس ما بيعيد حمس الرجوع شو صف برجع بالمحجب بتحكي مش وصفت الشاب بالتاكسي عمره ما خاني حسي نوستالجي حاسس بالخطر الجنبي بتمسك بالشنطه وانت شاشو 5 بعينك ويا ريتك حسود اللي سدها الايام بطل له بوجود بلعب بالشنب انت بتلعب بشو بلعب براسك زي لعبه فوتبول ترجع مش مرتي زي جن ملموس لسه الدموع لساني بنفخ فيك شكلك حزيري بمشي للشيوخ مش عارف يا جوج يا جوج ماجوج الخاني والوعد كله نفس الوقت امينش بالوعد بفضل اشوف
لساني سيب عصيت اللي في الستة عدسات تصيني صغير امسحهم بالماء قدامك كرمي درميلي ولا حطه مع سطوح الدار مش اشعر منيح مركز كل ماي مكرس كل ماي حبيجيك الشي رح تضرب تمسك بالراس تقولك ولا ممكن ما يهمك شو الناس رح تترك منك اتعب كم يوم واذا متوتر دخلك امشي من هون.
اللينجو تاع رام الله
عشان هيك في ناس بحسوا انه في شفرة.
الناس اللي عايشين في رام الله
في ناس برا
بتعامل معهم كل يوم اكيد رح يفهموا هذا الشيء.
الأهم إنه إحنا عم نحكي مع المجتمع اللي إحنا عايشين فيه، إحنا عم نحكي نحاول نفتح نبلش إشي ممكن يطلع أسئلة وأجوبة ونصفي عم نناقش هذا الموضوع عشان نوصل لمرحلة أحسن، لأنه إحنا عايشين في مرحلة زبالة هلا، مرحلة خرا.
اسمع روح يا سمونا ست بدي فلسطين يا مترحال يرفع من كف المحجر كلاب اختل على الاستقلال حكمونا راعود بكلاب في البلاد لا ترسي بس نحب البلاد هيجيكوا يوم وتقولوا وين احنا انتصرنا هالقد غلطك حصان تركنش على العزف على العزف اللي بتغير تركنش على حد كل حد بتمنظر ولا حتى السلطة بشيلها خيل يا شبشي تخربها حاله غالي رمضان ما بيجيش ببلاش ببلادي يلا رمضان ما بيجيش ببلاش رمضان ما بيجيش ببلاش ما بيجيش ببلاش
There's a completely new appreciation of alternative music in Ramallah.
There is a lot of artists who did techno with Arabic commercial music. So the elements were there, but I think the kinds of techno, which are like more Detroit, more Berlin, they got introduced little by Muqata'a, by Sama.
امتى موعد الحفلة؟
بعد بكره.
اوف تلحية؟
هي بدها يعني بعد ما شريت هلا منيح هي اصعب فقره لانه كان لازم اسمع كل شيء نزل باخر شهرين يعني. I started playing techno when I was 19 I think or 20. I came back to Ramallah in 2009. Tried to do a couple of parties. Didn't work at all. So there was this lady called Fida Kiwan who was running this place called Lawain in the middle of the city. She was like, we're gonna do a party and it's gonna work. She went to Haifa, she got Jazar crew and she brought him to Ramallah, introduced us to each other. We never met each other and she was like, you're playing together. And she got a huge crowd from Haifa to Ramallah. And that's when it started picking up and we started knowing each other more and it became a community. The scene has been growing, not just in techno, that's the thing. Now you have about 15 DJs, when we had none 10 years ago. So a couple of months ago, we got this huge archive of Palestinian traditional sounds. We made this residency for 2 weeks, where we worked on these samples. We had Boycott and Julmood living together and just doing music for 10 days. That was brilliant. We've never had that. The agreement between us and the government is that we can't keep the music after midnight, so we usually do house parties. When you're in public and people you don't know can see you, everybody's just looking out because it's a conservative culture. We're going now to the party. Most of the DJs that are in Palestine are gonna be there. It's dark here. Boom, the music is up. There was a huge cut between the different Palestinian cities for a long time, between the scenes, especially with 48, with occupied Haifa. 2009, a sudden connection happened. When we met with Jazar and everyone else in 48, it was really, really important for us to get together because they live a different life from what we do. They grew up speaking Hebrew. Having them around us made us understand even more what is going on, and for them as well to reconnect, also to hear.
I've been trying to perform in Haifa for 4 years. The Jazar crew have been inviting me, but it hasn't worked out because I haven't gotten the permission to go there, even though originally I am from there.
We are Palestinians with an Israeli passport. We are privileged, and we can use it for the positive thing that we can travel to Ramallah, and we can break, actually, this border.
We are the same people in the end, you know? We're all Palestinians, we all have the same culture, you know? It's only natural that we eventually meet again and make music together and throw parties together.
Today we're gonna travel to Ramallah and the West Bank to meet our friends, Odai, Sama, Salib Wahad, and then to play together in the first boiler room party in Palestine.
يا كبير
people wait for hours here. Hours and hours and hours, every fucking day. Going to work, going to the hospital, going to university. That's part of the oppression, yeah?
For us, like by law, it's not allowed to go to the so-called Palestinian territories, but no one really checks it. You can just drive through the border. For the people living in the West Bank and Gaza, you can almost go nowhere. In Gaza, you can go literally nowhere.
Israel is not really interested that tourists see that there is life in Ramallah. They want them to think from far away that this, exactly, it's a dangerous zone and tourists will live inside. We are in a fucking danger. So we just entered now, huh?
Now we are in area A.
قومي يكفيك الشر من عوايدك مش مرتاحة فيكي وصبالك بتدير الظهر بس أحسن عيونك دباحة ليكي حتى لو بترمي النار بتشوفي شو مخبيالك وبتيجي ترصد لك تترك لك تحسب لك وتقنصك باعتماد عليكي مؤسسة الأجل ما بتسقي
Yeah, it's like a familiar place, but also not familiar at all. I still feel as a stranger, although I feel at home somehow.
The sound of Ramallah is one of the most important sounds in the underground hip-hop scene in the Arab world and even in the world.
Can you put Bansa? Yes.
طريق مش خضرا بلا بل مش عارف مع مين واقع ان شاء الله يصيبك نص شلل مش عارف مع مين واقع
جديد في خلل تمن اصاب وصاحبه انعدل شوف شاب جديد ملا جبل مقاطع كم فلو مريضة تل انت واحد بس كمالة عدد حصة رياضة خير واحد تتنقع وقال شو بصير بالبلد شكلك شوي ضايع زي تاخد
Boiler room finally in Ramallah, Palestine for the first time ever. Such a great.
I've never performed before, as you said, nervous. Yeah, but beer helps, so I'm up.
And now behind the decks, the godfather of the hip-hop underground scene in Ramallah. Behind Ramallah Underground, please pick up to Muqata!
And the parties made us connect and we built this bridge with Ramallah.
بيك اب للناظر جلمود داكن مقاطعة عود سبع جزر كرو كمان السيدين مكتفين أطلع من أمي من جهة مش مع إنه تقولي كيف بلاقي الله والله بتطلع بعيوني مش لاقي المكان اللي بدي أوصله
We've been divided for so long. We've been divided for decades. We're not anymore strangers as they shape us.
And now we are getting to the last act. Audai, out, let's move the dance floor again. people. Thank you so much for the love, for the trust, and for being here with us. All of you, you are such an amazing, amazing crowd. We love you. Yes, yeah.
The thing is, not a lot of visitors come to Palestine. It's not that easy for them to come, and it's like everybody feels that it's a war zone, so nobody like feels the eagerness to go. It's not Berlin, you know?
With all the things now that's happening with the police and with this country, we can't have vision here. It's like we can't know what will happen tomorrow or next week or next month. So we're just fighting now.
Having a city that has this level of music appreciation made us feel much more free and gave us a lot of motivation.
We resist in our music. Together, we are the revolution.
وانا ماشي بتطلع ماشي بلا مقطع طريقي سامي والغلط عم بعيقني رامي بلاقي على بعيدني انساني واحكي لي عن حقيقتي وعاني اشكي لي عن طريقتي زي ماني والعمى عم بزيدني بلا تالي والمضى عم بعيدني زي حالي والنوى عم بريدني انا اختار انا الطيار اللي بسيء لسمعته المهنيه اذا بوقع انا الختيار اللي بل عن طريق فعلته اذا برجع وبحكي لي عن طبيعتي اذا بسمع بحكي لي عن عقيدتي اذا برحل بلاقيني في جزيرتي انا برحل بلاقيني في طليعتي انا بنحل بلاقيني في صحيفتي انا بنهل العلم من صديقتي انا بحزن بستمر في خطيئتي طب احسن ما تجيني في حديقتي انا بزرع الهواء على طريقتي وانا بلمح المشي عن مدينتي مش اصلح ينتسى عن وديعتي ما انا بعرف الحكي عن غريبتي لن ادنو وان حانت نهايتي كما ارجو اللاحت حكايتي مع انه الكاحت هوايتي
سفر له بحطه بخانتي بصفت له العبت بساعتي برتله النبرة بمعابدي مع انه اكل تفاحتي فما زدته سمك في الهادي استنى ضوهيو باجيادي بادي حيو فاني مكوك ساعي ربطوا سنيني تركوك في حالي بصفت له النطق بمعاني بطوب له السقف بخامتي مألوف سمعته بدانتي خلوه باخرته باجي حيو فاني ملكوت جاني فنفوا بكفيني دفنوك تاني ضيعوك ديني على خلق عادي على نقص ساعي على نقص مثالي عاري زي ميزاني ماني
مانو هذا سوق وخانو برعب الجنود من قرب سطوح البيوت حتفوت لتجيب بيانو يجازي عود انتفاضة وقصد فرزاتشي نسيت بعدين 3 درجات مي بالغلط اتذكرت كل